7 o'clock Thursday morning, daily Bible time. Dominic Steele here again. And look, I said the other day, we are looking for a geeky type to help us out with this. At the moment, we're just putting out the daily Bible time on Facebook, but we're kind of interested in pushing it out as an audio and video podcast as well. Thank you so much for your feedback. There's been lots of appreciation. I'm really grateful. And we think there is value in pushing it out on these other platforms, but we just need a reliable geeky type person who wants to use their gifts in that way, or someone who wants to pay a geeky type person to use their gifts in that way. Now, we are on the run up to Easter. We're in Matthew's Gospel and in the wonderful, wonderful passage about the Garden of Gethsemane in Matthew's Gospel. And we really are today treading on holy ground. We have an exclusive view into the most intimate moment within the Godhead, as the Father and the Son are in conversation about what is going to happen. Listen to what Jesus says and be amazed. This is Jesus' last request to his Father before his death. But Jesus doesn't put that last request to his Father as an ultimatum. There's no kind of, what are you going to do about this now? Jesus says, no, take this cup from me. And then the next 9 words from Jesus set the course of history. Let me read them to you. The next 9 words, he says, take this cup from me, yet not as I will, but as you will. I have a preference, take this cup from me. You've heard my preference. I mean, did the Father hear the Son's prayer? Yes. Hebrews 5, 7 to 10. During his earthly life, Jesus offered prayers and appeals with loud cries and tears to the one who was able to save him from death. The Father could have saved the Son from death. He could have done that. And Jesus was heard because of his reverence in Hebrews 5. Jesus was heard. God the Father was listening, and God the Father gave his Son what he asked for. Jesus the Son asked the Father to do his will. Now, this is the beautiful essence of submission. The church's wedding vows, you have 2 equals, and yet one exercises Christ-like leadership and the other submits. One acts for the best and the other trusts. And here you have the Father and the Son, equal in the Godhead, and yet the Son submits. You know, when a wife submits to her husband, she's not less than her husband, she's actually being like Jesus. When a wife makes the promise in the wedding service to submit to her husband, she wants to be totally sure that her future husband is trustable. In fact, that's why the husband makes the promise before the wife makes the promise. The husband promises to be Christ-like, to cherish, to love her, to care for her. I looked up cherish. It means to treat as dear, to care for tenderly, to nurture, to exercise Christ-like leadership. And it's in that context of hearing that promise from a husband that she can confidently trust him to submit to him. You know why wives don't want to submit to husbands? It comes down to, in the end, I don't trust him, I don't think he'll act for my good, and I think I'll know better. Husbands, we need to be men who cherish, who act for the good of our wives. We need to be men who are trustable, who in every way are sacrificial. Jesus perfectly submitted. Jesus perfectly obeyed. Let me give it to you again from Hebrews. Though he was God's Son, he learned obedience through what he suffered. After he was perfected, he became the source of eternal salvation for all who obey him. And he was declared by God a high priest in the order of Melchizedek. Jesus became the source of eternal salvation. It was by his death that Jesus saved all who trust and obey him. It'll be just hours